And good afternoon. This is the Elliott Wave Daily Update for the S&P 500, being recorded on Wednesday, October the 29th at 2:40 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Well, the market early went up and reached a resistance zone at 16. Today's high was 69.51, almost 52, and that resistance was right around here. It was 69.40, and then we had another one just above that. I believe it was 69.45. So kind of came in a little bit above, um, and then declined, but it held until we got the earnings. First was Google, but the one that really shoved the market lower was Microsoft, and then Meta. So Google, I guess you could say they kind of blew the doors off, but then they're making like so much money per quarter. And so the stock right now is up about 16. And so it's been fluctuating up to about, it's been up about 14 to 16 to 20, 16 to 18, I should say. And so as we kind of get further into everybody trying to get flatter, just kind of decide what they want to do and buying the stock or selling the stock. So Meta, on the other hand, closed at 751.67. So let's just say 752. It is now offered at 688. So that is going to be down $63. If it closes here and opens here, it'll be down 63. So let's get to work here. So you're going to notice one thing. I did put the 5 and the C and the 3 in, but I've left those fibs on. And the reason is because if you'll notice, let me take it down to the 15 minutes so that we can see inside this thing. Go like that, and then go, now we got it. So there, I put the 5 here. And then we kind of danced around a little bit. We're here, it shot up, and it came all the way back down. And that was all, let's see, Google took it higher. And then Microsoft came out, took it lower. And then Meta came out at this just shortly thereafter, took it all the way down. And then they started to buy it all back. Then they sold it off. Then they bought it back. Then they bought it way back. And then they drove it down again. And we're kind of closing here. So the fact that they went here, went above that resistance and got close. So this high is 69.45, which actually was resistant. And this one was just popping above it in a spike. So I'm going to leave the labeling as is, but I'm going to include that there's a possibility that this was the 3, this is the 4, and we are going to go one more time up. And if that's the case, this is still there, might provide some, but the next contender to finish this third would be at 60.65. And on this basis, if I put this over to here, just to say if this was the 3 and that was the 4, well, let me just say if I put that over here and say, yeah, that, and then it kind of brings it down to 69.84. But let me add back that 100%. You see also 69.45. So again, that area remains resistance. Even if it comes back up, it should find resistance there on the way back up, should it do it. So, but if not, then I got 69.64 and then 69.84 up top for, if this is the 4 for this one. Otherwise, let me now, oops, I didn't mean to do that. And I just mean to take out the noise. This one. I'm going to leave the other one in. So, and I'm left this one up there, and just in case it blasts all the way through all of this tomorrow, to show we have 77,050 for the C wave, should it be needed. In fact, to tell you the truth, I am going to take that one off because I'm just kind of going on whether this might have a little bit more to go. So I'm going to leave that one there because that is the third. and we know it exceeded it. So if it kind of comes back down, which it has, if it continues to decline, then I can say that the third wave is pretty much done, and we'll take that off then. So what I want to show now is just, I want to put in, because we're just going to use retracements, and that's the high right there. Come on. And so what we have, these are just the estimates. So again, diagonal, an ending, and diagonal triangle in a fifth wave position. So it's an ending diagonal triangle in a wave 5 of an uptrend. And it's been a very strong uptrend. So that 5, so when we're looking at the diagonal in this position, the one rule that stands out is that the fourth wave must overlap wave 1. So, and I've talked about this before, I'm going to talk about it again, that the Fed did cut the rate. We saw the market kind of begin to sell off a little bit on that. The press conference, what I picked up from the press conference is that no, the Powell was talking about, it's like, no, he hasn't ruled out an additional cut possibly in December. They said that is still on the table, but that's where I think it's going to be left. So what we're left dealing with is that we're now down to 3.5, 3.75, I believe it is, for the Fed funds. And so that part's good, but inflation on a consumer level, he did mention it. He said that the employment market is feeling some strains here and there, but overall, it's still looking pretty robust or just healthy. So a couple of things were just, guidance out there. So it wasn't that pure, like, cheerleader type one. It was like, yep, we're going to do it again. We're going to give you that other rate cut at the end of the year, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that basically what we ended up seeing was the bond market kind of slip a little bit, not a lot, but did kind of start to come down. The dollar strengthened a little bit, et cetera, et cetera. So nothing out of the ordinary. But we do have, again, tomorrow, we have Apple and Amazon. And I don't think anything that is going to be revealed. Let me just go and take a look on the economic data. No, none of it will be released because it's all from the government, and the government is shut down. So we don't get anything there. And also on Friday, outside of Chicago Business Barometer at 9:45, we have nothing. Personal income, consumer spending, PCE index, none of that will come out. Employment cost data will not be released. So what will be released is Chicago Business Barometer, and it's also the October expiration, not the monthly, but it's the end of the month, October expiration, and it should be a doozy. It should be a good one, and because a lot of stuff is happening that I know will be expiring in Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, and Microsoft. Also in Tesla, also in NVIDIA, which, did zip up. I think it was 208. I didn't actually see 209, but tremendous volume and very, very large volume in the options as well. And quite frankly, a lot that expire tomorrow. So, and that's puts and calls. So we should get some action out of that, as well as Meta. Now, don't forget, Meta, the options were closed when those figures came out. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of adjusting going on there. And same in Microsoft. Now, the other thing about Microsoft that's interesting is that both Amazon and Microsoft, their web services division, Azure in Microsoft, and AWS and Amazon, both went down again today. So, and I've not heard that they're back online, but it affects exchanges, it affects internet to a lot of corporations. So we'll see what that does. to the stock. It did pull the stock down, right? So now it is bid green, but still it's down from the close. It's down almost 2, or actually 2 on the bid. Okay, so that's really going to be about it here. I'm leaving that open. I've marked it because that's where I'm leaning, pretty much because of the depth of there. The only thing that would save it is if it actually does, we get this rally overnight, or we get early, we'll see them come in and just start buying Apple and start buying Amazon and start buying everything else up. Then the 3 would go here, the 4 would go there, and we'd be looking for these higher levels in one more extension. Now, even if that extension does come through, it does not diminish the need for that 4th wave. The 4th wave is going to happen. If this is a 5-wave sequence in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's a diagonal, it is going to happen. And so we will get a 4th wave. It's just going to be like, okay, guys, where do you want to put the top in for this C wave? It has extended several times, and if this internal third extends again, it'll be quite amazing, because what I've done is I've changed it. You'll see I put as if this is going to be the 4. So if we're going to rise up, where can we go? The 100% is pretty much right, continuing to be there at 69.45, which was the high, a little bit under the high for today. And then we have that 1.618. This is where wave 5 would be 1.618 times the length of wave 1, and that's at 69.84-ish. All right, so gamma levels didn't really come into play today, even with the downswing. They didn't, so we're still kind of looking pretty good. The Qs closed strong. The spiders closed strong. A little bit lower than their New York close at 687. Same with the Qs, came in a little bit under, but regular close was 635.77. There's 634.46 to 634.51. So, and the major level for them to break, if they were going to start to break down, was 630. So again, not too close. But then again, we got to see what happens overnight. And those levels will be updated and be included in tomorrow morning's update. And that will be the next update.